Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And thanks for checking out the Art of Money podcast. My name is Mark Owens alongside Art McPherson and Luke McCarty. All the information for the McPherson Financial Group, you can find it at theartofmoneyradio.com. We were talking about this off the air a little bit, and I've heard it popped up, Unrealized Gains Tax. What is this?
Yeah, so it seems like every week there's something new about the new proposed tax code, the new proposed budget, and the newest one is an unrealized gain tax.
Okay.
It's only on billionaires, so it's not going to affect most of us. It's only going to affect a certain amount of people, but once you start that path of saying you have this in your account, you haven't sold yet, so it's not technically a gain, but we're going to tax you on it. Once you start going down the path of taxing things that have never been taxed before, it's very hard to stop that, right? And what I think the government's going to realize is, right, if you just go after the billionaires, right, there's quite a few out there, but you're not going to get the revenue as if you start going down and lowering the income threshold. So it's a very scary proposal, in my opinion. I mean, just think about paying tax on a stock that you never sold, or maybe your house that you didn't sell yet. It just went up, so you have to pay more in taxes. I mean, it's pretty radical, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost like taxing your net worth in a way. A lot of people are gifted stock, or they get warrants on stock, or they are an owner of a company, that they have appreciation in their stock value. So you're basically taxing that appreciation, which the one thing that can be very unfair about that is what happens when it depreciates. They're probably not worried about that. They just want the tax on the appreciation side. And they're betting on the law of averages, which is, the market goes up 7 out of 10 years historically. So 70% of the time, they're going to be able to tax us on that. And it's just generating revenue for a government that is really out of control. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten to the point now where I say they believe there's a money tree. They have to go out and find it, though. You can see right here from what Luke's talking about, it's not a money tree. You have to find the money and you have to find the revenue. And it comes from our taxes, and it comes from our successful businesses and our successful entrepreneurs and the people that have created this great wealth. And, the government, when they start going down this road, they push people away because they'll fly to, they'll move their business. You saw it this year with Elon Musk. He moved Tesla to Texas. Why? Because California made it so onerous for him out there and all the regulations, and they kept ramping him up. He said, guess what? We're moving to Texas. Mm-hmm. So, governments have to be careful about that because the companies will leave, AKA Venezuela.
And this is one of the big reasons why you now have a CPA on staff at the McPherson Financial Group.
You better believe it because all the tax talk that we have, we want to make sure that we are doing everything possible for our clients to protect not only their wealth from a bad market cycle, a bad 10-year period. If we go into a historically long period of just slow growth, we want to protect them from there. But we also want to make sure that they are taking income the most efficiently and paying the least amount of taxes they have to pay.
That number is 321-425-8550 to reach out to the team at the McPherson Financial Group to put a tax strategy together. Because as you've said before, Art, now is the right time to start putting those thoughts together.
Yeah, now's the time to plan for next year and to plan for your future. We cannot minimize taxation on doing your annual tax returns. That's not the time to try to do that. You're just trying to pay the tax that is due for that calendar year. We want to make sure that we position your investments and we position your income planning in ways that we can really take advantage of taxable money, tax deferred money, and tax-free money. So we want to have all three of those buckets allocated for every client.
I mentioned this a few shows ago about the changes to the proposal of the backdoor Roth IRA and the mega backdoor Roth. Well, those could potentially be gone next year. So if you're currently doing a backdoor Roth contribution or over contributing to your 401k where it goes to after tax and then you convert it to a Roth, those may no longer be here next year. So you have a month and a half to do that, maybe for the last time. What's also on the docket, right, to start slashing away from our abilities to save in taxes is your Roth conversion strategies may be over in 2031. So if you haven't done one this year, if you've never done one, if you've never looked at it, just like Art said, now's the time because you may have only a short period of time that you can do certain things.
Morgan Stanley's Christopher Tomey has a message for investors, and that's the yellow caution light is still on, telling CNBC the market remains shaky because the pandemic continues to hang around.
As easy as it is to slow down the economy and flip a switch, to get the global supply chain going again and be operating at full capacity really is a little bit harder. And so despite everybody's hope and desire to get back to normal, if you're trying to get your kids to school and the buses aren't running, or, you're trying to do any of the other things that you think in a new normal, it's just being slowed down because of COVID.
So it's still top of mind. It's still dominating the headlines. What do y'all tell clients who are frustrated with their retirement plans because the pandemic just continues to drag on?
So we most recently just did some updates to our portfolios. If you go to our YouTube page, search for McPherson Financial Group, you can see our most recent updates. And we were able to get our clients into a fund that closed to new investors back in 2014. So because of some things we're doing internally, because of our buying power, we have access to certain things you may not have out on your own on the retail side. But when it comes to clients that are worried about the pandemic and things dragging on, we think just educating them, giving us our thoughts on the markets. If you go back to our Q3 video on YouTube, we were all green lights, go, 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 right? September kind of ended bad. Had a 4 or 5% pullback in the S&P 500. But ever since then, right, October's been a really good month. So if you have certain indicators that you're following like we do, and they tell you, hey, go, go, right? It's the market's primed to have a little bounce and recover and kind of, overcome some volatility. You need that in your corner.
Yeah, and then we're always watching that for our clients, Mark, to try to take advantage of what's there. We're going to run through different cycles. The market will run through good cycles. It'll go through bad cycles. It'll go through prolonged cycles. Right now we're running through a pretty prolonged bull cycle. A lot of that was set up by all the tax cuts and a lot of the things that happened for the last 4 years. Well, those are beginning to change now. So some of the changes that are happening today are going to affect us in the next 3, 4, 5 years out. So we're always kind of looking at what are we going to do right now, but then what are we going to do in the future, because things are changing. And in this world, it seems like it always changes for somebody else's benefit. It doesn't seem to be in our benefit very often.
Luke, what's that YouTube channel again? How do we find it?
Just go to youtube.com and search for McPherson Financial Group. You'll find some of our portfolio updates, our quarterly reviews, some celebrity interviews. You'll also find the podcasts. We put up, I think, 1 or 2 podcasts every week, so you can kind of see those are there. If you are listening, we created YouTube for you, so you do not have to download a new app. You don't have to find the podcast; it finds you. YouTube, super simple.
Well
said, Luke. Well said.
Thing to worry about.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com. We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174. 725.
Today's show has been a work of art.